Greetings. Hello chaps, how the devil are you? It's Friday again, here we all are. Fattercasters assemble. Cheers everyone. In case anyone's wondering, I've got a bit of a change this week. I'm on the green Carlsberg, mainly because when I went to do the Aldi shopping last Saturday, because I do that on a Saturday morning, they didn't have enough for my requirements of their own brand of my favourite neck oil. So I picked up one of theirs and a slab of Carlsberg as well. I will apologise before we go any further. You might be hearing some background noise. It's because over there I have a little fan heater going. Why have I got a little fan heater going, you may ask? Well, I'm cold. Why am I cold? Well, since Saturday morning, so this entire week, we've had no heating or hot water here at Robson Towers. Our boiler died on us, and we're currently in the process of waiting for the boiler man to come and fix it, and it ain't going to be cheap anyway. But that's what it is, isn't it? You just roll with the punches. You have to have, and thankfully I do, an understanding kind of bank manager. But anyway, so there we go, folks. Yes, let's see who was first in today. I've actually got some notes. I want to talk about some stuff tonight. I'm not winging it. Well, not as much as usual anyway. Who was first through the door? Amadeus. There we go. And hot on his heels, Rent to Kill. Dave Fiendish is there. So is David James and Ingrid. We got Johnny Random, we got Rubbish Guitar Bloke, Auto Geddon One, Mark Kerno, Francis Chambers, and Theme Tunes. There's Terry Day, Malcolm Spillett, Vincent Brennan, Tom Clark in South London, no less, and Terry S., who has very kindly sent me $10 Canadian. Good day, Fattercasters. It's mild spring-like morning in Kamloops, BC. Yeah, it's anything but that here. It's been one of those days where it's never really got properly light. It's just been kind of drizzle and cold and overcast and manky all day. My missus has been, bless her, she's been sat up on Redcar Market all day, and it's the first time ever in however many years she's been doing this that she scored a duck. She didn't take a single penny. It was a miserable day, but there you go. Such is life. There's Cylon Hybrid anyway, and then we've got Anton, Francis Chambers, we've got Frank Ball and Peter Collins, and PFY Guitars. There's El Baldo, early start today. Rock me Amadeus, indeed, yes. He was quick off the mark there, wasn't he? Then we've got Dr. Gomez, Peter Collins, and who else we got? We got Paul Trainer and his customary £2 in the tip jar. Thank you so much, mate. That is very much appreciated. Who else have we got? There's Grumpy Horse and Steve Entwistle, who's in a cold, wet and windy Manchester. Yeah, that seems to be the story everywhere in the UK at the moment. There's Chip Young and Stephen Hedger as well. And Doc Alders, happy Friday, fellow Fattercasters. A bright and warm welcome from Helen and Ian in a dark and dreary Sheffield. So Redcar, Manchester, Sheffield. With none of it, you don't go to any of those places in February if you're looking for a tan, it has to be said. We've got Peter Hall, and who else have we got? There's John Channing, J.R. Channing, Rex and Matic. Let's put you up on screen, mate. If you want to get put up on screen, write something a bit lengthy, because it's easier for me to read it if it's up on screen. Hello from Phoenix. Just read your post about new guitar innovations making their way to budget guitars as I explore. New to me, 25-year-old Parker P38 guitar with piezo, humbucker and single pickups. Yes, Rex is referring to the Patreon blog that got published today, which spoiler alert, I'm going to be making that into a video at some point, like I sometimes do with those blog posts, because sometimes during the week I'm thinking I've got to write a blog for Friday, and you kind of, when you've got to turn some copy out, and it might be a bit labelled, but this one just came to me as I was having a beer. Beer is such an inspirational thing, I think, isn't it? Yes. As Winston Churchill once said, I've taken a great deal more from alcohol than it's ever taken from me. Anyway, there's Johnny D and Austin Barrett, and my official, I'm going to call him my official now, head of global marketing, Grandpa Joe. And he's put 2 back to back here. Cheers, Fatcasters, support the channel. You're here because you like it. Consider John's Patreon. Check out the added benefits of joining Tier 2. Adds a weekly Zoom chat with John and Fatcasters. Well, thank you very much, Joe. And let's read your other one out as well. Don't forget that John has written 3 fantastic, easy-to-read and understandable books that will help you understand the whys and ifs of theory and blues and melodic rock lead guitar. They will help with your playing tremendously. Well, thank you for the plug, Joe. And I'm going to be doing a shameless bit of self-promotion later on in the stream tonight, because I've got a new product that's going to be, it's available as soon as I mention it, really. And some of you lads and lasses might be interested in it. Who else have we got? We got Ian Clark, home in time for the live stream. Yay! And still flooding everywhere in sunny Sussex. And I just seen I've got another super chat there. Who put that up? We've got Mr. Chris has given me a very generous £2, and Mr. Theme Tunes, money for the old boiler. You said it, yes indeed, yes. For those not from these shores, boiler can mean a device which heats water, but it can also be a colloquialism for one's better half. Yes, I'm going to take the boiler out for a night out tonight. And there's Blue Sofa Songs. Thank you so much. You're all chipping into the cost of my new boiler. Thank you so much, mate. Much appreciated. Anyway, where was I? Peter Williamson is in, and so is Robert Forsyth, Colin Falcon. I've completely lost track of where I was. Chris Otterwell is in, so is Farjon and Robin Fawcett and Blue Sofa Songs. It's rainy down in London as well, apparently. I've completely lost track of me where I am now. There was Ian Clark. I remember reading him out, so I can go down from there. And I've said all of those. Jay Aoyong is in, and so is Dave Lewis. And I'm not sure how to pronounce this one. I'll put him up on screen. Any advice? Is that Dave Balls? Or is it Dave Balsey? I don't know. But thank you for turning up, whoever you are, and however you're pronounced. There's Brad Dowell, and Colin Falcon is in. Have I said him? I just have. Greg is in, so is Mr. Chris, we know, because he just sent me a very generous super chat. There's William Forrest, and Russell Gibson, and Mike Mantis, and let's have a look. Anyone else I haven't mentioned? Ron Wells, and scrolling down, let's have a wee look. Session guitar legend Gary Shaw. The world is going to see Gary Shaw's face later on in tonight's live stream, because he sent me a picture. He sent me a few pictures, and we're going to be showing one of those tonight. Anyway, we got Mark Card, and there's Jeff Rock. Elbold64 is saying, never get a heat pump. I know somebody that, I'm a friend of a friend, was gullible enough to get a heat pump, and very, very quickly regretted it. So, no, we shall not be getting one of those. We're going to be getting a gas system boiler. Thank you very much. Mike Mantis had boiler trouble last year, ended up divorcing it. Yeah, see, that's the colloquialism I was talking about. Searching for Tone. We made it to another Friday, folks. Nice to see you in, mate. Let's have a look. Steve Cassidy, my pal Steve Cassidy. I do apologise, Steve. I didn't catch your live stream today. I was otherwise engrossed, and but I will catch it over the weekend. I believe you were designing a guitar, weren't you? Well, should be interesting to watch. Anyone else that I haven't mentioned? I think that pretty much... Oh, there's I'm a 640, Bill Mumbo. You just keep coming over the hill, more and more battalions of you. As soon as I think I've... what are you saying there, Steve Cassidy? Finally watched Flora and Son the other day. I told Yoshi, you'll never believe who's in this. She couldn't believe it when you popped up. Decent movie too. I haven't seen it yet. For anybody who doesn't know, that's on that's a movie that's on, I think, Apple TV, and the production company paid me a not inconsiderable sum a few years ago to use one of my videos in the movie. I don't know if I come across as a hero, a villain, or whatever. I don't care, but they paid me some money, and that'll do me. Where are we? J.R. Channing saying, feel your pain, John. Our boiler has been out of action for nearly 2 weeks. We now have heating but no hot water. Hopefully that will be sorted out on Monday. Yeah, we're getting by. You know, it's a small house, so it doesn't take a lot of heating, and a strategically placed fan heater does wonders. We've got an electric shower, so we can have a hot shower on morning, and then it's just a case of kind of doing a sink full of dishes. Well, that's what the kettle's for. So we're getting by. It's an inconvenience, not a disaster. And the fact that we've got, that there's some money in the bank to pay for the repairs. I think that's pretty much everybody. I do apologise if I've missed your name out. I did get distracted with all of the good wishes and super chats coming in. Thank you so much, everyone. Anyway, as is customary, I'll tell you what's coming up on the channel this week. On Sunday, what can I tell you about that? Well, it was going to be a review of a 90s model Washburn that I've been curious about for years. It was an obscure model that I remember being heavily advertised in guitar magazines, and I've been searching around for one, and many people kind of, when I mentioned this particular model of Washburn, said, I don't remember those. And when you start to think, am I imagining this? But it turns out they did exist, and a mate of mine had one, and he loaned it to me, and it was going to be a review of that guitar, but it kind of quickly became something else. And if you want to know what that is, you'll have to watch Sunday's video. Then on Monday, continuing the soloing kind of tips, lessons that are going on at the moment, which are soon to kind of morph into an old series that I used to have on the channel back in the days when videos used to get like 12 views. I used to do this thing called Lick of the Week. They're coming down the pipeline. Again, I've resurrected that, but this coming Monday, it's just a little kind of overview of my way of playing. I thought I'd do something a little bit self-indulgent, and kind of show you how I view the fretboard, and how I kind of mix the different influences that I've got together, on the basis that you chaps all seem to like the way that I play the guitar, so here's a little insight into how my noggin is jogging as I'm playing. So that's Monday's video. Then on Tuesday, those of you who are very generous enough to support me on Patreon, the tier 2 level, $6 a month, that's all I'm saying. Those of you very generous to support me there know that I do a weekly reaction video on Patreon, and you chaps send in links of performances that I sit and watch, and you know what a reaction video is. You've probably watched loads of them on YouTube. I don't know how you get them. I don't know how you get away with doing them on YouTube, because it's just, if anything's bound to upset the copyright wumbles, something like that is going to be. So I keep mine on Patreon, and I'm going to be talking about the 5 artists, or 5 of the best artists I've discovered via those reaction videos, suggestions sent in by my wonderful Patreon supporters. Then on Wednesday, it's not the first time I've done this, but I haven't done it in a while, so I'm going to talk about let's write a tune, and I'm going to show you how I use music theory and knowledge of the fretboard and everything to come up with, it might be an idea for an entire tune, or it might be an idea for a jam track. How, once again, a little bit of an insight into what's going on between my ears as I'm thinking, if you can bear the thought of having a glimpse inside my mind. And then on Thursday, an unashamed kind of what's the opposite of a polemic? An advertisement, whatever. I'm banging the drum for my favourite topic. I'm going to try and convince those music theory skeptics out there, because they do exist, that you really should get a bit of an understanding of what's going on in terms of scales and harmony and chords and intervals and all of that sort of stuff, and how it's useful, and what shortcomings you'll overcome if you take on board all of that. So that's what's coming up on the channel this week. I need a drink after all of that. you know, this green Carlsberg stuff, and you know that Carter's stuff that is the Aldi kind of cheap stuff. You could put them side by side in a blind test. You'd not notice the difference. I'm convinced, because Carlsberg make beer for everybody, don't they? So I'm convinced they're making that stuff for Aldi, and Aldi just put it in a different package. Let's have a wee look. Let's see what's been going on in the chat as I've been blethering away there. I'm a 640 says, I remember playing a Washburn with on-off switches for the pickups instead of a selector switch. I played a couple of guitars like that as well. My first ever electric guitar, my Woolworths Top 20, had little slider switches to turn the pickups on and off. Where are we? What else is bad? I love looking at the chat and seeing all the conversations that are going on there. As I said, I think last week, it makes me feel like, you know, I'm a publican. I'm a pub owner, and I'm just kind of stood behind the bar and listening to the general hubbub of hospitality that's going on. Johnny Random just played my latest song and timed it. It's a punk song, just over 4 minutes long. That's a punk epic, that, isn't it? That's you know, that's 4 minutes in punk. In 4 punk minutes is like sort of 23 minutes in Dream Theatre or Yes minutes, isn't it? Let's have a look. Anything else I need to? Yes. John CV, guitarist, teacher, radio host, content creator and movie star. Yes, indeed. Oh, Dave Fiendish, thank you so much, mate. I must have missed that one earlier. Let me just go over to the super chat, see if there's any others that I've missed. We've got one here. 10 is that Australian dollars? Had a Washburn MG40 like the Nuno Betancourt without the cutaway. It was great, but not enough wood to support the Floyd Rose. Just my experience. Yeah, this is the guitar was going to be reviewing on Sunday is a Floyd Rose guitar, and I don't think it's. Let me just turn this camera. I'm disappearing out of frame there. Don't let me. Hold on, I was going to say that. Yes. I don't think I'm spoiling anything if I tell you that part of the problem with it, which meant that I couldn't review it, was partially down to the Floyd. So yes, thank you, mate. That's very important, very generous of you. And searching for tone. I've been blethering so much, I've missed all these super chats. For the beer fund, it just keeps you warm, keeps you just as warm as a boiler, or maybe you just forget you're cold. Actually, it's getting pretty toasty in here now. I first kind of came into this room about 10 minutes before we went live, and I've got a little desk clock over here, and the thermometer on that was saying 14.8 degrees, and you know, so in about 30 minutes it's raised the room temperature to 20 degrees. So I'll let it creep a couple of degrees above 20, and then I'll turn it off, you know, because then it'll be warm enough for the rest of the stream. El Boldo, the Siberian forests couldn't support a single Floyd Rose, in my opinion. Yes, I'm not a fan of them, although I have, and my tier 2 Patreon chaps will know this already, I've also recently reviewed, the video will be going out on YouTube at some point, I think in either later this month or next month, excuse me, another guitar with a Floyd Rose that had been sprinkled with the Agrajag fairy dust, yeah, that was absolutely bulletproof. But you know, it's did it convince me? Well, you'll just have to wait for that video to come out. Mike Mantis is saying Floyd Rose trems are great. They do divide opinion, though. Those of you who love them absolutely swear by them, and those of us who shall we say, are not of that opinion, are very firmly not of that opinion. Like Johnny D's saying there, contrivance of Satan, Floyd Rose. Cylon Hybrid saying, never mind the Washburn, our Hoover washer does a great job. I don't quite get that one. I think there's a joke in there somewhere, but, you know, but it's it's my thick northern skull. It has flown right over the top of. Blue Sofa Songs is saying 4 minutes is punk prog. I always try for two to 3 minutes, but rarely succeed. I think I'm just about caught up there. So, shall we do a drum roll? Because I have an exciting announcement. Right. I have a new product. I mentioned this earlier, and it's something I've been mulling over for a while. And I won't lie, the new boiler bill has kind of hastened the announcement a little bit. But here's the deal. How would you like a year's worth of guitar lessons? All 3 of my books, which are Practical Music Theory for the Rock Guitarist, The Blues Guitar Bible, and How to Play Melodic Rock Lead Guitar. So a year's worth of guitar lessons, those 3 books, and the premium edition of my album that I released last year, Dougal's Treats. The premium edition includes not only all of the MP3s, but all of the videos for the tracks as well, and all of the backing tracks, and all of the tabs in both Guitar Pro and PDF format. So that is what do I mean by a year's worth of guitar lessons? Well, probably my most commonplace sort of frequency that I get for people having lessons with me is once every 2 weeks. So a year's worth of fortnightly guitar lessons is 20 guitar lessons, and you can either have them here in person with me if you live local, or you can have them on Zoom. So 26 guitar lessons, all 3 books, Practical Music Theory for the Rock Guitarist, Blues Guitar Bible, and How to Play Melodic Rock Lead Guitar, and the premium edition of the album, videos, tabs, jam tracks, everything. All of that, 400 quid. Okay. Now, if I was doing just the guitar lessons at the most discounted rate that I do, which is when people buy a block of 12, if I was to extend that to 26, scale that price up, that would mean that just the guitar lessons alone would be 350 quid or thereabouts. So for the price of the 26 guitar lessons and the 3 books and the album, 400 quid. That, I think, even though I say so myself, is a bargain. And if you're interested, be quick about it, because there are only a certain number of slots in my diary for those guitar lessons to happen, right? So I can only take about 6 people who are interested in this. If you're interested, email me, jrguitartuition@gmail.com, and I'll kind of, we can go from there, and I can send you the PayPal link and everything like that. If you're interested, jrguitartuition@gmail.com. But once those slots are gone, they are gone. Okay, I can't invent a 25th hour in the day, or a 26th or a 27th. There is limited availability for this. So if you're interested, get your skates on pretty quick. jrguitartuition@gmail.com. I'm expecting this to sell out pretty quickly, because these kind of things I've done in the past usually have done. So just ping me an email. You can either, as I say, jrguitartuition@gmail.com, or you can go to johnrobsonmusic.co.uk, and you can use the email form on the website. Just get in touch and let me know. Register your interest, and it's going to be first come, first served. So, that's it. That's the shilling over with. Next thing I've got written out here, there's a good pal of mine. He started off as a student, and, as I've said before, when you're kind of having a weekly Zoom call with somebody, or a fortnightly Zoom call with somebody, friendships get formed, and I think of this chap as a friend now. He's called Christoph, and he's in Germany, and when you see us side by side, you think, my God, were they separated at birth? Christoph is properly poorly at the moment. He's in hospital, and he's going to have to go through some pretty kind of, extensive treatment. It's looking like he's going to come out the other end of it fully fixed, but he's not having a happy time of it at the moment. And if Christoph, if you're watching there in your hospital bed, we're raising a glass to you. So everybody, raise a glass to my pal Christoph, who's not having a good time of things at the moment. Cheers, Christoph. Get well soon, mate. And did I notice another super chat there? I did. The legend that is the Lamb is amongst us. Here's to the fund, liking the snazzy jacket. Looks toasty. It is. This was this is what I got for Christmas off the wife. Yeah. And it really is. It keeps you nice and cosy. So thank you to my missus. Wonderful Christmas present. It's like, things like this come in handy when your bloody central heating's gone belly up. Anyway, we're coming up to the halfway mark, so I think it's about time we navigated to the folder where I keep the lovely pictures of guitars that you send me. So let me go and find that. Oh, it's already open, and this is we should really try and work out how to get that gallery music going. Don't, but we'll probably upset the copyright womble, so we won't bother. Anyway, how do I, let me there we go. Thank you so much, Lammy, much appreciated, mate. Right, what do I do now? I keep forgetting how I do this, Old age and dry rot. Right, share screen, that's what I need to do. And this is from a chap called Carl Roberts, and this is his 2022 Fender Dreadnought all mahogany acoustic. That's a really nice looking guitar, it has to be said. When I think of Fender acoustics, I tend to think of those Fender acoustics that were probably all played with the high action and the kind of rather cheap plasticky poly finish on them. But that looks a really sexy beast. That's a beautiful looking guitar. Carl sent me loads of pictures of his guitars, by the way, and that's one of them. Have we got another one? Yes, we do. This is one of his many Les Pauls. When people send me a load of pictures of guitars, you can kind of get a sense of what kind of where their loyalties lie. And I think it's fair to say that Carl is very much a Les Paul guy. And this is his 2024 Gibson Les Paul Standard 50s with a AAA top. As I always say, there are certain times when people have sent me pictures of guitars, and it's, when a particular guitar like this one just personifies what you think of when you picture a certain guitar in your mind. Picture a Les Paul, that's what you see in your mind, isn't it? Beautiful looking thing. I'm very, very envious of that guitar. Thank you for sending the picture, mate. And Gary Shaw. First of two pictures concerned with Gary Shaw. This is his vintage Lemon Drop, which Gary is very much a Strat guy, but I think he got a little bit Les Paul curious. And he bought this for, I can't remember what he said, but it was some ridiculously low amount. I think if I remember correctly, it was sub £100, and he's got himself a great little modding platform there. So he's probably, as we speak, salivating over, kind of pickup catalogues and kind of Spursel tuners and stuff. But even as they stand, I played one of these. It was one of the first guitars I reviewed after I'd had my little finger accident and when I was able to play again. And even just as they stand, they're a great little Les Paul style guitar. And there's Gary again. This is Gary on stage. I don't know what the date is here, but there he is playing with Eric Bibb. Gary is the guy over here playing the Strat. And I think this guy over here is obvious. That's obviously a bass, and there's Eric Bibb, and there's Gary there plying his trade. Told you, he's an international jet-setting superstar session player, is Gary, and he comes on here every Friday and listens to a fat, bald northern bloke talk crap for an hour, but there you go. Anyway, this is John North's Yamaha FSXS. Good workhorse acoustic guitar, Find a bad review of a Yamaha acoustic guitar. They're just sort of the Model T Ford of acoustic guitars, aren't well, not quite, but you know what I mean. They're just a great little workhorse. And yeah, John keeps sending me pictures of guitars. He's got more guitars than Andertons, that fella. And this one belongs to Mark Card. This is his Epiphone Les Paul SL Melody Maker. And what we got, 650 SCR neck pickup and 700 SCT bridge pickup. Now, and if you're not aware, I think these are the ones that have the bolt-on neck. If it is the one that's got the bolt-on neck, I know somebody who's got one of these, and it's a beast of a guitar. It's like a big, brash, ballsy Telecaster sounding thing, which you don't necessarily, well, maybe the single coil pickups lead you to expect it, but it's got that real kind of raucous, kind of a great blues or punk guitar or anything rootsy, and lovely thing. Then Mr. Chris has been getting the credit card out again. This is his Hills HN3. I've just recently done a video which will be going out, it's already gone out on Patreon Tier 2, of the Hills HN5. The only difference between the HN3 and the HN5 is that the HN3 is the fixed bridge one, which has passive pickups, and the HN5 has a trem and active pickups. Yeah, I had fun playing that HN5, it has to be said. Not sure I'm convinced by the headless thing yet, though. And Tom Clark. Tom Clark, this is the second Hello Kitty guitar that you've bought and sent me pictures of. You know, it's, yes. As long as you like the look of it, mate, then I guess that's all that matters. And I think from there we'll move on to Vincent Brennan, a chap who does love his Grecos and Bernies. And this is his 1973 Gneco, or is it Neco Greco, EG420. Does it say Gneco or Greco on the lid there? Can we zoom in far enough? Yeah. Yeah, I think that's meant to be an R, but you can see how it kind of looks like an N. And there you go. Excuse me, I've got a sudden cough. I'll have to indulge in a bit more lubricant. So there you go, chaps. That is this week's selection of beauties. Raymondo, thank you so much, mate. Dying of all the colds there, are unhappy. Oh, I'm so sorry about that, mate. A good mate of mine's suffering from the dreaded allergy at the moment as well. In fact, it's something a bit more than that with him. I think he's got some kind of chest infection, and it's really knocked the stuffing out of him. But a combination of cold and flu remedies and the odd little Nyland. I'm doing very well at this tonight, aren't I? These kind of spoonerisms. Highland nightcap. That's I think that's going to see him through the other side of it. Anyway, cheers everyone. Right, because I can't see what's going on in the chat while I'm doing the viewers' guitars, I'm just going to have a quick little look at the chat and see what's been going on while I've been blind to it. J. How Young saying it scratches the post and that. Yeah, I noticed the cat scratch post there. Where are we? J. Young is saying, presumably you're talking about headlong guitars. I'm really on form tonight, aren't I? Headless guitars, headlong guitars. That'd be a good name for a guitar brand, wouldn't it? Introducing the new headlong guitar series. Yeah. Maybe I should register that as a trademark. I think you're talking about the Hills there. Can even bring it with you on a plane. Yeah, this is something I mention in the video that I do about the Hills guitar. That is one of the often stated advantages of headless guitars, that you can carry them on a plane with it. Well, yeah, you probably can. But how often is that going to be a useful trait? Certainly in the UK, right? Certainly in the UK. I understand it that, like in the States, people catch planes like we catch buses, because you've got essentially a much bigger distance to cover there. Some of the distances mind-boggle me, by the way. When I first met my Mrs. Jackie, she's Canadian, and the only thing I knew, those first few dates where you're trying to make small talk, and I said the only thing I knew about Canada was that the X-Files was filmed in Vancouver, and I said, "Oh, are you close to where the X-Files is filmed?" And she said, "No, it's actually further from her hometown to Vancouver than it is from there to Redcar, where we now live." And those kind of distances blew my mind. But yeah, I suppose when you have to do a lot of air travel, that's the thing. But how many guitarists really? The average Brit might get on a plane once a year for a fortnight in Benidorm, or kind of Torremolinos or somewhere. So it's not an advantage that would sell it to me. I suppose if you're one of the maybe if you're Gary Shaw, one of the international jet-setting session players, you could possibly find that to be an advantage. But it's not something that kind of is relevant to me or many people that I know, I suppose. Tom Clark is saying, "Hello Kitty is the dog's bollocks." Indeed. For those who need a translation, those not from this neck of the woods, in the UK, if something is vastly worthy of approval, it is referred to as the dog's bollocks. Check out my new custom-built guitar. It's the dog's bollocks. I don't know. I have no idea where that aphorism comes from, but it does get used. It's one of those things that you know what it means, but you don't know why it means it. It's like my dad always used to have a saying when it was a cold, miserable, horrible, wet, nasty, windy, freezing day. He'd look over the top of his newspaper and he'd say, "I tell you what, son, it's a bit thin." I knew what it meant, but I have no idea why it meant that. Steve Cassidy says, "I enjoy the adventure of hunting for guitars on holiday, so I travel without an axe." Yeah. Budget pedal chap. "Are you a fan of maple syrup? Hockey? Yes. If you want to wind up my missus, right, just say A at the end of everything, and she'll probably throw a slipper at you or something." Mark Kerno, "Considering upgrading to Tier 2 Patreon after 3 years or so, John, can you remind us all of what you get with each tier?" Right, so with Tier 1, you get all of the jam tracks, tabs, lesson content to download and keep from the YouTube videos. Right, you also get a weekly blog post. I've included the Tier 1 level in that now. Every Friday my blog goes out, usually about 10 in the morning. Right, so Tier 2, you get all of that, but you also get early access to the videos, at least weeks, sometimes like a month or so in advance of when they go out on YouTube, including all of the tabs and everything that go along with them. You get a weekly Zoom call with me and the other Tier 2 lads, and you also get a weekly reaction video. So for the Tier 2, you get tabs, jam tracks, etc., lesson content that go along with the YouTube videos. You get the weekly blog post. You get and then, as I say, for the Tier 2, you then get on top of that, you get the weekly Zoom call, you get early access to the videos, and you get a weekly reaction video. So that's the Tier 2 kind of thing that's going on. So anybody else asking about that? Rowdy Callis saying, "Did you see the floating bridge by Magnet Guitar?" I've seen the thumbnail, and it's in my, on YouTube where you can kind of click watch later. It's in my watch later list. El Baldo. Memo to Lynn. Yeah, Memo to Lynn, that's an Alan Partridge kind of thing. British comedy character. Road trip idea. Arizona man Rexomatic takes John Robson guitar on a reminiscence of his college Lake District pubs, bumping into several Fatacaster groupies along the way. It's a lovely idea, mate, but it's not going to happen. For reasons that I don't have time to kind of bore you with here. Overnight trips away from home are very difficult for me at the moment due to commitments that I have. Okay, I'm not going to kind of go into like personal things as to why that is, but I've it's a lovely idea. It would be nice in an ideal world to do that, but it ain't going to happen. Sorry. Where are we? What else have I missed? Dave Balls, I hope that's the correct pronunciation. Anyone seen DS, UK Dire Straits covers band? I'm seeing them in May. Do you know what? It amazes me. I did hear that there was some kind of... I can't remember what they were called, but there was some Dire Straits tribute band that had ex-members of the Straits in it. I wonder if that's the one I'm thinking of, but they weren't called DS. Maybe they had a name change or something. But it's always amazed me that there's two bands, okay, that when you think of the number of tribute bands that are out there, or has that thing peaked now? I don't know. But when the tribute band kind of circuit was big, and you were getting, like there's the Australian Pink Floyd, and there's all of the ABBA tributes and everything, isn't there? The two bands that always amazed me that there was no tribute band for were Slade. I don't think I've ever come across a Slade tribute band, and Dire Straits. You could possibly understand why there's no Slade tribute band, because who else could sing like Noddy Holder? That's a hard voice to mimic, but not impossible if you've got a decent set of pipes, which I don't. But it's not like you have to be have Pavarotti levels of vocal ability to kind of do the Mark Knopfler croak. No disrespect to Mark Knopfler, his voice was the perfect vocal for Dire Straits. You wouldn't have wanted somebody like Robert Plant or Paul Rodgers or someone like that fronting a band like that. But there does seem to be a dearth of Slade and Dire Straits tribute bands, and I was quite encouraged when I heard a few years back that there was one, but I couldn't find one. Anyway, what do I need to do? We haven't done what happened on this day yet. On this day in music, a new feature. I started this off last week, so let's have a look and see what we've got on this day. Here we go. 2020, on this day, 2024, today being the 6th of February, American guitarist and singer Donald Kinsey died at the age of 70. He's best known as a member of Word Sound and Power Band, the reggae backing group for Peter Tosh. He also toured and recorded with Albert King, Bob Marley and the Wailers, and Roy Buchanan. In 2014, Nirvana's Smells Like Teen Spirit was named the greatest song of all time by the New Musical Express. Smells Like Teen Spirit was one of the last songs written for Nirvana's breakthrough album Nevermind, which was recorded in 1991. The rest of the top 5 tracks were 5, Last Night by The Strokes, 4, How Soon Is Now by The Smiths, 3, I Feel Love by Donna Summer, 2, Love Will Tear Us Apart by Joy Division. And I was going to say, what's number 1 then? But we've just said that, haven't we? Where are we? 2011. On this day in 2011, dear me, how could I forget this? Irish guitarist and singer Gary Moore died aged 58 in his sleep of a heart attack in his hotel room while on holiday in Estepona, Spain. Moore had been a member of Skid Row, Thin Lizzy and Colosseum 2 before going solo, scoring the 1978 UK number 8 single Parisian Walkways. Moore's greatest influence in the early days was guitarist Peter Green of Fleetwood Mac, who was a mentor to Moore when performing in Dublin. His 1990 album Still Got the Blues featured contributions from Albert King, Albert Collins and George Harrison. Let's have a look. On this day in 2007, Italian-American singer, songwriter and actor Frankie Lane died aged 93. He scored the 1953 number 1 single I Believe plus over 25 other UK top 20 singles and the 1956 number 3 single Moonlight Gambler. He sang well-known theme songs for many movie westerns, including 3:10 to Yuma, Gunfight at the OK Corral, and Blazing Saddles. Yes, Anything else worthy? Oh, here's one. On this day in 2001, guitarist Don Felder was fired from the Eagles. He would later launch a $50 million lawsuit against drummer Don Henley and guitarist Glenn Frey. They alleging wrongful termination and breach of implied, in fact, contract. Henley and Frey then countersued Felder for a breach of contract, alleging that Felder had written and attempted to sell the rights to a tell-all book. Both parties settled out of court for an undisclosed amount. And one more. In 1998, American singer and guitarist Carl Wilson from the Beach Boys died aged 51 after a long battle with lung cancer. Wilson was diagnosed with brain and lung cancer in early 97. He sang lead vocal on God Only Knows, Good Vibrations, I Can Hear Me, and I Can Hear Music. Wilson also sang backing vocals on Elton John's Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me. And that's a little roundup of what happened on this day, February the 6th, in music history. So, I think we've got time for a viewer's tale, haven't we? Shall we move on to that? Let's go and find the viewer's tales. Where are we? Here we go. Right, this one comes from a chap that I know. He's one of my students, actually. He's a great guy. He's called Dallas. And that's his first name, by the way. His first name is Dallas. And he told me this story once in one of the lessons, and I said, write that down and send it to me. I'll read it out on the live stream. So here it is. As you know, I visit Nashville every year. On one of my trips, I was staying at the Hilton. Ooh, posh. Well, talking to the driver, taking us around, he told us that, wow, you're going to stay at the Hilton? That's where Little Richard lives. Well, lo and behold, there was Little Richard waiting for his driver to take him somewhere. Just sitting there with the door wide open. It was just a wonderful person, very gracious, nice old man at the time. In addition, the driver, when we got to talk, and told me that he was kind of friendly with Jack Pearson. If you don't know who Jack Pearson is, Google him. He asked me if I knew him, and I told him he was like one of my idols. He told me he was playing at one of the small jazz clubs called Ruby's. I went that night with my wife and we got to see him play in a very small venue, maybe 60 people. When he first came in, I just gave him a quick hello as he was setting up his amplifier and his guitar. And I didn't really want to say too much, but I just wanted to say hello. When they took a break, he was standing at the end of the bar going to get a drink. I was walking by to use the restroom. He actually stopped me to talk to me. That blew me away. He spoke to me like he knew me and I knew him for several years. He asked me what I play, what kind of music I like. The conversation went on for a while. It was wonderful. He told me why he uses Squiers. Yep, I mean, this is Jack Pearson, one-time member of the Allman Brothers, and he uses a Squier Bullet Strat. I asked him about swapping out the pickups. He told me no, he doesn't do that. It was just a wonderful, wonderful time to meet with this man. He's such a great guitarist and such an idol. For him to be so down to earth was just a great experience. Sometimes you find them like that. I found one. So I met and spoke with two great guys, two great legends in one day. That's a lovely story, meeting Little Richard and somebody who is, Jack Pearson is like the guitarist's guitarist. People who know. Do you know what I mean? He's as I say, he's played with the Allman Brothers and all kinds of people. Big time session play in Nashville, basically. And he's also done at least one solo album, which I've got. Sometimes include tracks from that on the. That's the other thing you get on Patreon, by the way, a monthly podcast. He's a fantastic guitar player, really tasteful, bluesy, jazz kind of soulful player, great slide player as well. And his main guitar, his number one guitar, is a Squier Bullet Strat, the cheapest of the cheap Stratocasters. Like Squier Bullet, it's the Sonic range now, isn't it? The cheap end Squiers, but the equivalent of that, and he plays, big gigs with that. It's incredible. Anyway, need more drink. Oh, that's better. Searching for tone, yes. Mr. Richard, any regrets firing Jimmy? Probably not, but it would be funny to ask. apparently the reason why Little Richard fired Jimi Hendrix was this is one of those quotes that you really want it to be true, even if it isn't. You know, he said to Hendrix, "Nobody else is allowed to look pretty in this band other than me." You know. Rent to Kill, what you saying there, mate? How's Dougal going, John? Sadly, our Akita Rex 13 now dumped in the house. It's not fun when you're cleaning it up at 3 a.m. in the morning. Yes, but he's an old man though, isn't he? Dougal is fine. Dougal has a new hobby. Dougal has this penchant, a liking, a predilection for stealing the washing up sponge. You know, the little sponge that you get to do the dishes with a scotch pad on one side of it. Yes, yes, we call it sponge munching, which it sounds vaguely sexual, that doesn't it? But you know, he's been, you know, I'm chasing up this because anything that illicit that he's got that he shouldn't have, he runs upstairs because he thinks he thinks maybe I can't climb stairs or something, and eviscerates it on the landing, and I'm chasing up after him saying, "Give it back, you sponge munching little bastard." So yes, that's his latest thing. Previously to that, it was the wife's fluffy slippers that he had a little bit of a thing for, but now he's got a thing for the dishes sponge now. So there you go. That's how he's doing. Searching for Tone. Mine loves to take dish towels as well. He looks back at you as you chase him. Yes, that is. Any dog owner will recognise the expression "the bum tuck zoomy," where they kind of tuck their back end in and run as fast as they can. Usually when they know that they're kind of they're going to be in trouble. Rowdy Carl is saying, artist guitars from Australia have a lot of bang for the buck. I've used an entry-level acoustic and have 5-string PJ bass. I've reviewed a couple of artist guitars. I used to have the artist, I think it's TC59, the twin humbucker telly. Only thing I could say about that was I didn't like the pickups, and it was an absolute boat anchor in terms of the weight. But as a guitar, the neck on it felt like something that, you know, Mr. Reed Smith would have approved of. It was a beautiful neck, and the latest iteration of artist guitars, you know, some are relics, some aren't, but the latest iteration with them with hand-wound Alnico 5 pickups, stainless steel frets, and all, you know, and all this kind of gubbins for like about 300-400 quid. I'm getting curious. You know, let's get the boiler situation out of the way, and then we'll see what happens. Anything else that I need to take note of? Cylon Hybrid, what you saying there, mate? John, before boiler replacement, have you got an immersion heater that will give you hot water? Be aware they're on about putting more hydrogen in the gas to make sure the new boiler can handle that. Little story about that. There was a proposed hydrogen project that was going to take place in this town, where they were going to basically force us all to use hydrogen rather than North Sea gas, and it kind of died a death because not enough people signed up for it. That's not the reason they quoted, but that's the reason why it really happened. And the guy who's installing the boiler is, you know, to install boilers in the UK, you've got to be, it used to be called Corgi registered, Council of Registered Gas Installers, but now they've kind of changed the name to Gas Safe. So I'm just leaning on that guy. That you know, I'm thinking he's in the industry, he knows what he's doing, and he comes highly recommended from trusted sources. So have I just got another super chat there? I think I have. Mark Card, annual Fatacaster Guitar Club dues. Oh, thank you, mate. That is beyond generous, Mark. Thank you so much, mate. That is massively, massively generous of you. That's beautiful of you. Thank you so much. I'm blown away by you, Jen. I mean, you know, I honestly, when I said, like, you know, you'll hear the heater, which I'm going to turn off now anyway. you'll hear the heater because I'm cold because our boiler's gone kind of ropey. Honestly, that wasn't me kind of fishing for, rattling the collection tin or everything. I'm absolutely blown away by your generosity tonight. Thank you so much, Mark, and everyone else who's chucked a few quid in the tip jar. I'm gobsmacked. I really am. And I just want to, in the last 5 minutes, I just want to say the new thing that I've got on offer. Be quick. This is going to sell out, okay? A year's worth of guitar lessons if you have a guitar lesson every 2 weeks. That's 26 guitar lessons on Zoom or in person if you live local to me. All 3 books. Practical Music Theory for the Rock Guitarist, Blues Guitar Bible, How to Play Melodic Rock Lead Guitar, and the premium edition of my album, featuring backing tracks, videos, tabs, and all of the music as well. 400 quid the lot. And this is going to sell out. I reckon I can probably stretch to maybe 6 or 7 of these because of guitar lessons take up space in my diary, in my calendar, and there's only so much space there until somebody invents a 25-hour day. So make sure, if you're interested, that you email me jrguitartuition@gmail.com if you're interested to register your interest, and you'll hear from me over the weekend if you do. That's also the email address, by the way, if you want to send in pictures of your guitars, the viewers' guitars. We don't call it readers' wives anymore, because when I open my email in here, when there's I've got a student in here, and I open my email to send them some lesson resources, and my inbox is full of readers' wives. I do get some funny looks, so please just call it viewers' guitars. That's the email address, jrguitartuition@gmail.com. It's also where you send your viewers' tales to. Let's have a look. The old ones are the best, mate. My wife and dog went missing last week. A reward is on offer for finding the dog. Yes, thank you very much. I'm here all week. Try the veal. Yes, that's one of those old kind of Bernard Manning jokes, isn't it? He might have been a little bit of a... Well, we won't say what Bernard Manning was, but, in terms of his comedy timing, he was, if he had it, didn't he? And Anton, let's put you up there. I forgot to give you a plug there. Steve, check out Steve Cassidy's channel for a new video after John's live stream. And there's the link there. Yes, go and check Steve's stuff out. I will be plugging me earbuds in and having a look at that while the wife's watching her soaps later. And, and drinking beer, basically, because it's Friday, and hugging the fan. And basically, my plans for tonight are to drink my own weight in Carlsberg and hug the fan heater downstairs, and then, tomorrow can take care of itself. Anyway, chaps, that's it for tonight. Thank you so much for all of your generosity, for all of the super chats and everything. Much appreciated. It's absolutely flown by tonight. I don't know where the time's gone, and that's all thanks to you, chaps. As Keith says from 5 Watt World, he says, you guys are the channel, I just make the videos. And I wish that was one of my lines. I wish I'd thought of that, but I'm nicking it anyway. I'm going to say that. Thank you for turning up. Thank you for your support. Thank you for everything that you do for me. It's massively appreciated. And I'll keep on doing it till you're sick of me. But for now, time, gentlemen, please.